Hi friends, in this video we are going to discuss how to write answers for the UPSC mains examination, that is a written examination, how to approach the mains examination and how to write the answers. Uh, Before this, I would like to discuss certain important things uh, for students. First thing, please remember that the UPSC mains examination is intended to check your in-depth knowledge on various subjects and various issues. So this is not a test of your memory power, the various things, facts and figures and numbers that you have memorized. Your conceptual knowledge, your analytical thinking, your critical thinking and your innovative thinking. So this is the requirement for the UPSC examination. UPSC clearly states this in their notification. These days UPSC is asking students, aspirants to give their own suggestions also. So you have to have this out of box thinking also. You have to give your own suggestions, views and opinions. So definitely in-depth knowledge is must. In-depth conceptual knowledge, analytical thinking is definitely the main requirement for this examination. But unfortunately many students, they are going in the wrong path today. Many students, they are memorizing many things. They are memorizing facts and figures and they are writing it in the mains examination. They are ending up with very low marks. Please remember this thing. UPSC mains examination is not the place to show our knowledge. I am not there to prove myself. I may be expert, I may be a genius. That is not the place to prove myself. So you should satisfy UPSC's requirement. So the question what UPSC is asking, you should satisfy the question. Your answer should be relevant for UPSC's question. That is why I urge all students regularly, whenever they have time, please take previous years UPSC's GS mains papers and read the questions first. Don't try to solve it, just read and understand. If you just read and understand, automatically you will start writing good answers because the answer itself will be there in the question. So please take the papers and try to understand the question. So your answer should be relevant for UPSC's questions. So you should satisfy UPSC's requirement. You are not there to prove your knowledge, your mettle, your intelligence, your expertise, your genius in the examination. So please remember this. And don't write unnecessary facts and figures, numbers, years, whatever you have memorized in the from the books or from other materials. Second thing, don't try to copy any other person's strategy or style. Right now many students, they are trying to copy the writing style. They are trying to obtain the answer sheets of toppers from the internet. This is completely wrong practice. Your studying style, your method of grasping the knowledge, your analytical ability, your way of reproduction, your analytical thinking, your style of writing, everything is integrated and this is unique for every student and aspirant. So please don't try to copy anybody's style or strategy. Please develop your own strategy. Please develop your own style of writing. Please remember this. Next thing, one of the big myths that have been circulated the social media over the past 4 or 5 years, whether I should have very good English knowledge, whether I should be very excellent in vocabulary, grammar. This is completely a myth. This is not at all needed for the examination. I have seen many Tamil medium students in Tamil Nadu who used to write the mains examination in English and they have got very good marks. UPSC requires simple and effective communication. If you have basic English knowledge, if you are able to frame words simple and effective, that is more than effective. Just frame 4 to 5 words as sentences and try to communicate in an effective manner. You will get very good marks. So there is no need to write in a very rich vocabulary. Even if there is small grammar mistakes, that is not a big issue. So don't go by this myth at all. Even if you have studied in your regional language, try to write the mains examination in English itself. This is my kind advice. Because certain subjects like geography, science and environment, these subjects, you can directly write the keywords, the points in English directly. Further, in English, you can communicate yourself with less number of words. You can write in a very concise and crisp manner. So writing in English itself is an advantage. So explore the option of writing in English itself. Please don't go by this myth. So simple and effective English is more than enough for this examination. Next thing, quality, quantity. Quality, content matters for this examination. If the content of the mains answer suits the question, you will get good marks. Simple as that. Quality is important than quantity. I have seen many candidates who will write lot of stories in the examination. They will end up with very low marks. The thing is, UPSC gives importance to quality and content. Content should be there. If they are asking a question for 150 words, if you are able to write only for 100 words, just stop there and move to the next question. Don't waste time writing unwanted stories with the assumption that if I write more, I will get more marks. The examiners will, or given the answer key, they will have the keywords and the points, so they will match with the content that you have written. So don't write unnecessary stories and stuff within the examination. Time management is very important. So focus on quality rather than quantity. I have seen many candidates in the mains examination, out of 20 questions, they will leave out 4 to 5 questions. They will write only about 15 questions, but they will end up with very good marks. The reason is, like I said, they will focus more on quality and content. So please go by this. And always remember this mantra. Never forget this mantra. Never try to write the best answer. Just try to write a good answer in UPSC. You will end up with very good marks. Right now, most candidates, 99% of the candidates, they are trying to go for, they are trying to reach the sky. There is no need for this. Just try to write a good answer. Just try to write an answer that suits the question asked by UPSC. Just follow what you used to follow in your school and colleges. Okay, whatever question they are asking, just read the question, understand the question, and write accordingly. Like I said, the answer itself will be there in the question. So please go by that. So don't try for perfection. So don't try to write the best answer. Just try to write a good answer. You will automatically end up writing a very good answer, excellent answer. You will definitely end up within the first 100 ranks, or even first 50, or even you may become the first rank holder. So please keep this in mind. The reason why many candidates who are actually very knowledgeable, they are really intelligent, they used to read a lot of books and stuff, but they will end up with very low marks. The thing is, their attitude is completely wrong. They will have some sort of ego. They will try to prove themselves in the examination. They will not read the question properly. They will write whatever they have studied. They will try to dump whatever they have studied in the examination. So this is a completely wrong way of approaching the examination. If the question is for 150 words, stick to the word limit. Word limit is very important. Roughly one page will accommodate around 100 words. So with writing practice, with daily writing practice, automatically you will adhere to this this practice. So one page in the examination, automatically you will write around 100 words. So if the question is for 150 words, you will have to write approximately for 1.5 pages. If the question is for 250 words, you will have to write approximately for 2.5 pages. So there is no need to count the word. So with practice, automatically you will adhere to this limit. So more or less, even if you breach this limit, it's not a big issue at all. But once again, content is more important and quality is important. Now let's come to the main stuff, how to frame the answer. For any question asked by UPSC in the mains examination, you should write an introduction. Next, the body of the answer. The third is conclusion. Introduction, no need to write introduction. Whatever you are starting, that implies that it is the introduction. So some people used to write introduction. So don't write introduction. Whatever you write itself is the introduction. Next, body of the answer. Body of the answer is most important. It carries the bulk of the score, the marks. So it is most important. The analysis, the pros and cons, advantages and disadvantages, whatever you are discussing, should be there within the body of the answer, and the end is the conclusion. In the conclusion, you can give an inference, you can give your own suggestions or view for any answer. In case you are not able to come up with the conclusion, just leave it. There is no compulsion to write the conclusion at the end. So don't waste time just for the sake of writing a conclusion. So don't break your mind over following a very rigid formula or a rigid protocol. This is just a blueprint: introduction, body of the answer, conclusion. So just stick to this blueprint. Try to give a conclusion. If you are not able to give, just leave it. Okay. And next thing, one of the main things you have to follow is, within the body of the answer, don't repeat the points again and again. So each point should be unique. Okay. So content is more important. Don't repeat the point. Like I said, always keep quality in mind. Introduction should be catchy. It should be very crisp and concise. Don't give a long introduction. Okay. For example, let's take this question. What are the advantages of FDI, foreign direct investment? Let's say just an example. So in the introduction, just write what's meant by FDI. So FDI means foreign direct investment, which is nothing but the investment done by overseas individuals and organization entities in areas of productive investment in India. So just give a simple introduction like this, then go to the body of the answer. So your introduction should be very crisp and concise. In the body of the answer, you have to frame the body according to the question. If the question is direct, let's say they are asking about advantages and disadvantages, you can just frame accordingly. First list out the advantages, then disadvantages. So it's very simple. If it warrants a conclusion, write a conclusion. Otherwise, there is no need to write a conclusion. Let's take the same FDI. If they are asking about the advantages and disadvantages of FDI, give a short introduction about FDI. Within the body of the answer, write the advantages of FDI. Next, disadvantages of FDI. Here, the conclusion is not needed, in fact. So, there is no need to write a conclusion. Don't waste time writing any conclusion. So, this is how you will have to write the answer. Apart from this, some people, they used to ask whether I have to write the answers as paragraphs, stanzas, or into bullet points or numbering. Once again, this has to be done according to the nature of the question. Like I said, the same FDA example, if they are asking about advantages and disadvantages, it's better and logical to frame as bullet points or numbers. Advantages 1, 2, 3, right? Advantages, then disadvantages 1, 2, 3 or bullet points. So frame the body of the answer according to the requirements of the question. There is no rigid answer writing style. Don't go by any myths and rumors circulated on social media. Generally, there are many rumors circulated, many myths circulated. This topper got so and so mark only by writing bullet points. This topper got so and so marks by writing stanzas. He used to write subtopics. He used to underline everything. All these are nonsense. In my own experience, I have written 6 mains written examination. I have attended 3 interviews. I can guarantee you, I tell you, UPSC gives weightage only to the content. UPSC won't give weightage for these bullet points, decorations, underlining, etc. So always keep this in mind. If the question is somewhat vague in nature, if it warrants a multidimensional thinking, then you have to frame the question accordingly. For example, if they are asking this question, what do you understand by quadrilateral security dialogue, Quad? Do you think India should join the Quad? What are the various implications? If such a question is asked, you should frame the body of the answer accordingly. Once again, give a short introduction, what's meant by Quad, and within the body, according to the needs of the question, you should frame the body of the answer accordingly. Here, if you write as bullet points, it won't be appropriate. Here, you can divide it into paragraphs. Probably you can write at subtopics. You can divide the implications of joining Quad and its benefits and disadvantages. You can divide as subtopics. For example, what are the economic implications? If India joins Quad, we can develop our economic relations with developed countries like America, Japan and Australia. We can obtain various resources, natural resources, manpower from these countries. We can better integrate our economy with these countries, with these developed countries. So one subtopic is economic. Second is political. We can develop our political heft in the Indian Ocean region. We can counter China's dominance. All these points you can write within the political angle. Next, strategic. We can develop our military strength in the Indian Ocean region. We can go for joint exercise. Once again, we can check China's dominance in this region. We can check China's Belt and Road Initiative. We can develop many military bases in the seas. So all these you can write within the strategic perspective. Apart from this, you can write other points also. Development perspective. The many islands in the Indian Ocean region and around in the littoral region, Indian Ocean region, can benefit. So it is a form of soft power diplomacy for India. So you can write from a multi-dimensional point of view. So always keep this in mind. Such questions, if they are asked, you can write from a multi-dimensional point of view. So these questions you can write in the form of paragraphs or subheadings. You can give each subheading for each dimension, like I said, economic, political, strategic, development, etc. Once again, if you want to give a conclusion, you can give, otherwise you just leave the conclusion. For example, for this quad question, you can probably give a simple conclusion. Quad, the culmination of quad, the success of quad requires political will from all the countries, especially from India. We should come above these silly issues. We should come above the regional conflicts and make this grouping a success. So you can give a very simple conclusion like this. So please keep this in mind. Apart from this, one of the main thing you should remember for the UPSC mains examination is that for any answer, whatever it could be, always write from a multi-dimensional point of view, especially questions from second paper, third paper and first paper also. Especially development oriented question, social welfare oriented question. Always keep vulnerable sections of the society in mind. Women, farmers, tribal people, uneducated youth, poor people. Always keep these people in mind. Don't write from a elite perspective. For example, if a question is asked regarding Make in India scheme, write about the role of women. Write about rural development. Okay, Make in India is very relevant for villages also. Make in India can be taken to villages also. Village, we can start many food production industries. Okay, Make in India scheme is not only about building metro projects, bullet trains, airports, etc. So always keep the vulnerable sections in mind. Always keep rural India in mind. A future civil servant should work for rural India. So keep rural sections in mind. So always remember vulnerable sections of society in mind. So if you keep these things in mind and write the answer, you will end up with very good marks. Women, tribals, rural people, especially the poor people. So keep all these in mind, especially when questions are asked from a developmental point of view, social welfare point of view. Questions regarding NREGA scheme, Make in India scheme, food processing industry, smart villages, these type of question. Always keep the vulnerable sections of society in mind. So don't always write from a elitist point of view. And similarly, questions that concern development as well as environment, always give a balanced answer. Never say we can destroy forest, we should develop special economic zone, we should develop airports. Always have a balanced approach. We need environment, we need to protect environment. At the same time, we need development also. Always take a balanced approach. Okay. Take everything of whatever you have heard from your parents, whatever you have heard from the political leaders speaking in the TV. So just flush all these out of your mind. Your answer writing should be very balanced, neutral and very practical in nature. You should write in the nature of a future civil servant. Assume that you are a civil servant the moment you take the pen and you start writing the mains answer paper. Please keep this in mind. Next, regarding this myth, this is a big myth that has been circulated for many years. If I decorate the paper, if I use sketch pens, if I underline important terms, if I put boxes, I will get more marks. This is a complete myth. This is a complete nonsense. In my experience, I can tell you, my GS marks in papers 1, 2, 3, 4, I used to get marks in the range of the people who used to get within the first 50 marks. So I used to get very good marks in the GS paper. I never used to decorate the papers. In fact, I used to write with pen. I used to underline with pen only. I won't use these sketch pens. I won't unnecessarily decorate anything. So in my experience, I can tell you, UPSC will give weightage to content only. So don't waste time taking crayons, sketch pens, underlining unnecessary stuff. In fact, it will irritate the examiner. If you underline everything, it will irritate the examiner. Just underline the subtopics and the major important points. Regarding diagrams, once again, don't draw unnecessary diagrams. You can use flow charts. Instead of writing long points, you can depict using flow charts. That you can write. So flow chart is actually an alternative for writing long points. So you can use flow charts and diagrams. Especially for environment, geography, diagrams are must. Especially for geography, you have to draw diagrams. But don't draw diagram just for sake of drawing diagrams. For history and for other stuff, international relations, social issues, there is not any need for drawing diagrams. But many candidates will draw diagrams, but this is not needed. Once again, don't go by these unnecessary myths and rumors. If there is a need, definitely draw diagrams, draw flow charts. Otherwise, don't draw. Even while you draw flow charts or other depictions, these are alternatives for writing long paragraphs. So instead of writing long paragraph, you are just giving a flow chart. So please keep this in mind. Apart from this, what else? Yes, I want to tell this. Many students used to ask me whether I can criticize the government, whether I can write points against the government. Please remember this, IAS examination itself is to check your critical thinking, your analytical ability. So most of the question, if you take the previous year paper, the questions are regarding the existing programs of the government, the existing vision, mission and the welfare schemes of the program. So definitely you will have to critically analyze the question. If you want to critically analyze, you will have to analyze only. The question itself will ask you to critically analyze. If there is a drawback of within a government scheme, of course you will have to write. If they are asking whether MPLR scheme is efficient or not, you will have to analyze. In many cases, it is going useless. Of course, you will have to write. So definitely, you will have to criticize the various social welfare schemes if they are going in the wrong manner. If any scheme is not proper, it is not properly implemented, then of course you will have to criticize that. So it is not wrong. In fact, the UPSC mains examination itself is to critically analyze the various schemes, the welfare schemes, the aims, the missions of the government. So definitely you will have to criticize, but criticize in a rational manner. You can boldly write, but criticize in a balanced, neutral manner. Okay, don't directly attack any government. For example, you could be a supporter of a government. For example, you could be a BJP supporter or you could be a Congress supporter. Don't write in a biased manner. Okay, so don't show your political affiliation in the government. So in that you should be careful. You can criticize the government, but just write the government of the day. The government of the day should have been careful. The government has failed to address these issues. The government is showing lack of attention in these issues. So write like this. Don't write the name of the Prime Minister. Don't write Mr. Modi. Don't write Mr. Rahul Gandhi. So please keep this in mind. Of course, you should criticize. If they are asking whether demonetization process was a success or failure, of course it was a failure. So you can write boldly. So it doesn't matter. But like I said, you should write in a proper manner. Demonetization was intended to flush out the black money. Unfortunately, it did not achieve its end, because even in the past it was tried. It ended up as a failure. So definitely the 2016 demonetization was a failure, unfortunately. So you can write like this. So of course, if you want to criticize the government, you have to criticize the government. But once again, here government here means the social welfare schemes of the government, the various initiatives of the government, and the various visions and missions of the government, the foreign policy of the government. So government here does not mean the Prime Minister, the Home Minister or the Finance Minister. So government here means the government apparatus as a whole. So government itself is nothing but the representation of people in a democracy. So please keep all these things in mind. So let me summarize. The mains examination, quality and content is more important. Answer should be relevant for the question. You should not write whatever you have studied. The mains examination is not a place to prove your knowledge and intelligence. So simply remember, approach this like a school examination or a college examination. So just try to give a good answer. Don't try to stress yourself. Don't try to give a best answer. Just try to write a good answer. I hope this video is helpful to all of you. I wish you all the very best. Thank you.